Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. For those of you that kind of protect and serve us, with very deep gratitude for you. For those of you that are always constantly working to keep us safe and healthy, it's just very, very much appreciative of your effort, your time, and your sacrifice. Today, as we work through our practice, will be a little bit different, a little bit of a mix-up. Generally, when we're thinking about the Ashtanga practice, one of the things that comes to mind is a very austere practice, because it's a very austere practice. It requires quite a bit of discipline over a long period of time to really start to feel the effects or the fruits of the practice. And so there is an element of seriousness to it. At the same time, we oftentimes get kind of stuck in the seriousness of it. Ashtanga sometimes draws those who are the most passionate about their practice, and at the same time it draws those who are also tend to be the same ones who are also most obsessive about the practice in a lot of different ways, because the postures being more intricate in so many different ways can cause a kind of a precision or even a scientific way of looking at the postures. And so that can cause us to become a little bit of, like I said, a little bit obsessive about the different actions, which is good. In many ways, working towards perfection in postures, even with the expectation that perfection in postures isn't really a thing, is very much of the lesson of Ashtanga, and kind of one of those guiding notions behind the practice. However, at times, having a playful practice is super important. I think what it does is it helps us to expand our horizons a little bit, and allows us to also start to build a kind of when we're able to look out over the horizon, it helps us to kind of see what's coming up, or to see what's in the future if we keep working hard. And sometimes that little bit of motivation can help us to open up our practice and really start to move deeper into it, and start to see what the future holds. As such, we're going to work on some handstanding inside the postures, inside the flows. If handstands are not your thing, but you are familiar with the practice, then skip those, hold the postures for just a little bit longer, and maybe then as we come out of the handstanding, then maybe that's when you start to come out. Use your breath patterns, always using the breath pattern. And then when you are going, if you are choosing to go through the handstand actions, or you're struggling with them a little bit, it's Monday morning, who cares, right? So there's not an expectation of performance in a way that maybe necessarily we kind of cling to. So make sure that you give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of grace. At the same time, because we're doing handstand, there can be a lot of stuff on the wrists, and so I wanted to do just one or two different wrist stretching actions. So I like to do this one with a couple of bricks, and if you don't have them handy, maybe grab some. But the wrist stretching we'll go through here is to put your wrists on the brick, take your other hand, and so we're going to seal it so that the wrist doesn't move, and we're just going to make little circles here. And so the idea is that the forearm isn't moving, only the wrist, the bones in the wrist are getting the articulation that they need. So I'm making little circles here, the forearm isn't wobbling back and forth, and allowing that extra mobility, making a fist and flexing the fingertips towards the floor, or extending the fingertips towards the floor, and then curling back in, making a fist, extending through the wrist. If it's not in the camera, I want to really feel that action of drawing back, and then curling in, lengthen, extension, and then curling in for flexion. And then from there, flip your left elbow and send it down the arm. And so you'll feel, especially if you have tight wrists, maybe you're working in the garden, in the yard all weekend, squeezing tools, that they can be pretty tight in that position there. And so we work it out with the elbow. Sometimes it can be a lot. Sometimes your hand will be doing these little things, which is exactly what you're looking for, is to find and address that muscular tension there. And so as we press out, thinking about lengthening down the arm and creating space in all of those muscles, maybe flipping over and using your elbow just down the center of those two muscles in the forearm. So you're kind of really drawing it down. And then we'll switch sides, bringing your hand up again. Seal the wrist so that only the bones on the wrists are moving, not the forearm, not the elbow. Make your little circles, go to the right, clockwise. I always get a good popping out of my wrists, and then opposite direction, getting that articulation. And then some slower movements, extension, create that extension, really flex really create the extension by bringing your fingertips towards the brick and then curling them in, hugging in. Feel the muscles on the outside, on the back of the forearm engage, and then extension of the wrist, drawing it back, fingertips towards brick, curl in, squeeze it. Let's do that one more time. Reach it long, open up the wrist. It's almost like Spider-Man hands. Feel that drawing in, and then coil the tailbone, or coil the wrist in. And then from there, take your elbow and slide it down the hand, down towards the hand. Feel that drawing of those muscles longer. Maybe roll the wrist a little bit so you're on the other side. Nice, and then let's go ahead and shake it out for a moment. Okay, and then one more time, one more wrist stretch here. We're gonna think about bringing our hands onto the floor from a tabletop pose, and then we'll rock it forward a couple, 2 or 3 times, bringing it forward. And then from the other side, rocking side to side, so opening them up to the side, fingertips point to the outside edges of the mat, rocking back and forth, and then bringing them back so they're pointing towards your shins or knees, pushing into the floor, maybe rocking forward and back a little bit, again getting more movement in the wrist, maybe towards the inside. If you bring them to the inside, rocking a little bit, you can bend the elbows, get some movement here. And then the last one, fingertips on the floor, palms on the floor, and then pushing your fingers into the floor, come up onto just the mounds of the fingers and bring it down. We'll do that about 8 more times. So come up, just using the strength in the hands, push down, coming up, and then down, a couple more times, back. And so the more stronger you're feeling here, bringing more weight forward and pushing, draw it down. Let's do 2 more, pushing, draw it down. One more time, inhale, and then exhale, bring it back. And then from here, let's just go ahead and shake it out. All right, and so as we work through our handstands, different principles are involved. One of them should be that when we do decide to kick up into a handstand, we're not necessarily working on handstand as much as we're working on just the approaches into it. And eventually, if we do all of the math and we do everything correctly, the postures will kind of manifest themselves eventually. And so really approach them with a kind of humility, and then also a kind of curiosity. So the expectation, not so much there. Instead, just simply allowing the postures to unfold for you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, maybe they unfold for me, and I'm a great example. Maybe I'm going to struggle a little bit. I'm anticipating the latter, probably struggle a little bit, haven't worked on them a lot. For some reason, I woke up this morning and said, hey, seems like a great day for handstands. So let's see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and come to the front of the mat. Samastiti. Bring your hands to heart center. We'll start with the invocation. Let's go ahead and do it together. Beginning and ending with Om. Deep breath. Vande Gurunam Chardanadavinde Sandar Shita Svatma Sukha Vabode Nishrayase Jangalikaya Mone Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantiaye Abahu Purushakaram Shankechikarasi Darinam Sahasra Shirsam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. And then Samasthiti, arms to the side, really rooted, strong, standing up out of the floor. Feel the inner thighs drop back, the outside of the hips draw in a little bit, so it's like we're squeezing in, strengthen out through the legs. Maybe your feet are engaged and you're flexing the toes back, but the mounds of the toes are pushing down. So the roots of the toes rooting into the earth. And then Surya Namaskar, draw the groin back, inhale the arms up, press into the floor, press your palms together. And then exhale, fold it forward. Bend the knees when you need to. Bring your hands down to the floor, squeezing in. Inhale, lean weight forward into the hands. Press down with the hands and the feet. As you exhale, step back into high plank pose, pressing into the mat with your hands here. So we're in that high plank form. Push into the ground, squeeze the waist up towards the ceiling, and then inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower the knees down to the floor, and then the chin and the chest towards the earth. Take your tailbone down. Inhale, pull the heart open into that upward form or into that cobra form, and then exhale, hips to the sky for your downward facing dog. About 3 breaths, 3 more breaths. Two more. One more breath, inhaling. Exhale, pressing the breath out. Bend the knees, look forward, front to the mat. Inhale, lift your chin and chest. Exhale, coil the tailbone down. Get a nice action with the wrist, the hands on the floor. And then inhale, arms come up to the sky, press the palms, look up. Exhale, arms to the side, Samasthihi. Inhale, arms come up, strong through the legs. Exhale, folding forward, hands come down to the mat, maybe out in front of your feet. Inhale, shift weight into the hands, lean forward a little bit. As you exhale, high plank pose, step it back. Inhale again, exhale, knees down, chin down, chest down. So set this pattern of engagement, coil, tailbone down, lift the heart, look at your nose, and exhale, hips towards the sky for your downward facing dog. Inhaling and exhaling. 1, inhaling and exhaling. 2, inhaling. 3, vibrant breath. 4, and then inhale. Maybe you come up a little bit into that high plank pose. Exhale, squeeze down through the pelvic floor. Press the breath out. Look forward, front of the mat. Inhale, lift your chin up off your chest, lengthening. Exhale, coil in, push into the floor. Inhale, rise up to the top, reach up to the sky, palms together. Exhale, arms to the side, Samasthihi. Inhale, arms come up, ekam. Exhale, folding, hands down. Inhale, Trini, lean forward into the hands. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, bending the elbows. Tailbone dives through, lift the heart, up dog or cobra. And then exhale, hips to the sky. And so now I want to deviate just a little bit, mixing it up. Bring your knees down, cross your shins. So actually, we want to think in terms of how to activate our core in our handstands, and then also how to get some expansion out of an engaged core. So pulling your feet back, pull in, almost like a boat pose, right? So squeezing in, use your hands, coil in, pull the waist in, see if your core will activate for you. So generally, we will lift our feet off the floor. Find that clawing back first. So that's the action in the body that will allow us to pull the knees up and the heels back. Then from there, lift your chest. On your inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, push up. As you exhale, coil the tailbone back up, hands come back down. Inhale, lift your chin up off your chest, reach up. Exhale, pull the knees up towards your armpits. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up, pull the arms back, lift your chin up. Exhale, coil in. Inhale 1 more time, reach the arms up, keep the knees drawn in, and then exhale, squeeze in, and then relax it out a little bit. So when we come into handstands, basically we want to inhale, lift up, exhale into a chaturanga form. And so when we do so, the knees still stay coiled in. We want to feel the action of the tailbone drawing in and the core engaged. We don't want to give that up as we jump into a handstand, because then it becomes a balancing posture rather than, or it becomes a balancing kind of action that we're doing, and not so much a yoga posture. So 1 more time, 5 breaths here. So this time, bring your knees into the chest, arms out in front, out here, and then pull the feet up off the floor. On your inhale, straighten the arms and the legs, pull the arms back. Exhale, coil in, try to keep your knees into your chest. Inhale, reach the arms up, push against the sky. Exhale, squeeze in. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up, push against the sky. Exhale, squeeze in. Last one. Inhale, legs are straight, arms are straight, pull them back. And then exhale, release. Hands down to the floor in front and back to your downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here just to resituate ourselves. Strong legs. Feel that same coiling action. Squeeze your knees towards your chest and then straighten out the legs. Push your arms deeper and deeper into the floor. Take a deep inhale. Maybe come up onto your toes. As you exhale, bend the knees, squeeze the breath, squeeze down through the pelvic floor, and then float or step forward. Inhale, lift chin up off chest. Exhale, fold in deep. Inhale, rise to the top, reach up to the sky, and then exhale, arms to the side, Samastihiti. Inhale, the arms come up, reach up. Exhale, do a fold forward. So squeezing in. Inhale, push into the floor, up onto your toes. Shift weight into the hands. Exhale, low push-up. Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. And down dog. And exhale. So we're going to do some handstand pop-ups from one leg. And so lift up your left leg towards the sky. Bend your right knee. Try to keep your right knee up towards your chest. About 3 pop-ups. So look in between your thumbs. And then pop up, squeeze the knee in, release it back 3 times, squeeze. 1 more time. It's not about the handstand, it's about the action. And then release. Left leg is rooted, right leg comes up. Shift weight forward a little bit. 3 times, lift up, hug. Again, inhale, lift up, squeeze. Last one, lifting up, squeeze the knee. Exhale, bring it down, back to your downward dog. 2 breaths, inhaling, exhaling. 1 more time, inhaling, and then exhaling. Last one, inhale. And then as you exhale, press the breath, bend the knees, step or float to the front. Inhale, lift your chin. Exhale, coil in. Inhale, expand, rising up, deep breath. And then exhale, arms to the side, Samastihiti. Utkatasana, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale and then exhale, root the tailbone towards the floor, fingertips touch. Inhale, the arms come up for Utka. And exhale, press your palms to the earth. Inhale, shift weight into the hands. Maybe you bend your knees, come into crow. And then with your exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog. Exhale, lift up your left leg this time. Actually, let's just step forward for our first warrior 1. Back heel down, rooted in, up onto your right toes. So you're really coiling, tailbone down. And then inhale, bring it up, push to the sky. Exhale, the hands down, shift weight forward into the hands. And then you can step back or lift up your left leg, come up, right leg lands, up dog, and then down dog. Right foot's flat, left foot forward, warrior 1. Root the front, root of the big toe, and then inhale, uncoil, rise up. Exhale, the hands down, shift weight forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Pressing into the floor, at the same time lifting away from the floor. So the muscular energy in the legs is almost like 2 syringes pushing into the floor, but then pulling the inner thighs up towards the sky. 3. Pubic bone rotates back just a little bit initially, but then the tailbone needs to come into it as well. Pubic bone almost drawn towards your sacrum. 4. Finish your exhale, press the breath, bend the knees, float to the front. Inhale, lift the chin up. Exhale, fold in deep, press into the floor. Utkatasana, set deep, arms up, inhale, and then exhale, Samastihiti. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hands out in front. Inhale, shift forward. Maybe you separate your knees, lift the feet up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. This time, left leg warrior one, or right leg warrior one, but lift your left leg up. Look forward. Inhale, float up. Exhale, hug the right knee in. So pop up, squeeze the knee, back heel down, arms up. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands down, pressing breath out. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale, right leg comes up. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, landing. Arms come up, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Shift your weight forward, lift up, and then Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, or maybe child's pose if you need to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finish the exhale first, pressing the breath out. Look between your thumbs, and then float or step forward. Inhale upon landing, lift the heart. Exhale, press into the floor, coil in. Utkatasana, arms up. Inhale, exhale, hands to the side, Samastiti. Pressing breath out, tailbone down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Shift weight forward. Maybe you bend your elbows, lift up. Chaturanga. Up dog. And then down dog. Left leg comes up if you're going to float forward. Float up. Place the foot. Back foot down. Inhale. Arms up. Exhale. Hands down. Lift up. Chaturanga. Up dog. And then down dog. Pressing the breath out. Lift up the right leg. Float up. Back heel down. Arms up. Exhale. Hands down. Lift up. Chaturanga. Up dog. And then down dog. Nicely done. I'm assuming as long as you're not too frustrated and you're staying curious, your practice is working for you. I'm going to keep our heart open to possibility. 3, 4, last one, inhaling. Press the breath out, squeeze through the pelvic floor, look forward, float to the front. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, folding in. Utkatasana, press the tailbone down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Samastiti. Squeeze through the pelvic floor as you exhale, your arms down to the side, bend the knees. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands down. Maybe you keep your knees in, pull your heels up into Lalasana. So lean forward, inhale, lift up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog. And then down dog. And then this time, go ahead and lift up your right leg. Will float forward, lifting up off the left leg, float forward, and then bring your right leg down for your warrior lunge on the right side. Let's give it a couple goes, okay? So we'll give it 2 shots at it. So right leg comes up, look forward in between your thumbs, and then lifting up, switching your legs. All right, let's try that again. Right leg up, look in between your thumbs, lifting up, switching your legs. Warrior one, arms come up. Inhale, and then you exhale the hands down, lift up, inhale, Chaturanga, exhale, up dog, and then down dog. And so same thing, but the right leg comes up, so let's give it 2 tries on the left side, just to get our brain involved. So, sorry, left leg up. So then from there, look in between your thumbs, pop up, switch your legs, foot down, back foot down, okay? Let's do it one more time. I promise the opportunity. Look in between your thumbs, lifting up, squeezing in. Arms up, inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands down, lift up, inhale, Chaturanga. Exhale, lift the heart for your up dog, and then your down dog. Again, child's pose is a uniquely situated posture It looks a lot like a baby dog or a puppy, right? In that calm puppy when napping state, right? So we have peacefulness written all over us when we're in our down dog or our child's pose, either way. One more full breath. Finish your exhale, pressing the breath. Look forward, float or step to the front. Inhale, lift chin up off the chest. Exhale, fold in deep. Then bend the knees, look up, inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale, arms to the side, Samastihitihi. So this time, we'll take our time with it. Pause at the top, as long as you can. Maybe both feet will come together. We'll just take a little bit extra time here. Make sure you give yourself those opportunities. Give yourself opportunities to fail at it, and then just be cool with that. And that allows you to really grow. So, Utkatasana. Sit deep, tailbone down, arms come up, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hands down, bring them out in front of you, come up onto your toes, and then pop up into that tuck form. Lift, Chaturanga, up dog, and then down dog. And this one's, you call your own ball here. Lift up your left leg if you want to float forward. Maybe you do that other splits, or maybe you find your way into your warrior one in a more reasonable fashion. So take your time, find your way to your warrior one with your right leg. So lifting up, maybe you try it again. So give yourself grace and time, and find that warrior one form, lifting, reaching. Exhale, the hands come down, press into the floor, take your time, get used to the actions in the body, and then Chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. So left side for that warrior one. So again, look in between the thumbs, find your pop up. Maybe you do it again. Perfectly fine. Lifting, squeezing in, place the foot, place the back foot, rise up, reach up, hands come back down, bring the weight forward, lift up. Again, 2 times, not a problem. And then Chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. And so hopefully that's fun for you. I think it's super interesting, the dynamics we can bring to these different actions. After a while, they really do become instructional. 4, and then 5. Press the breath out, bend the knees, look forward, front of the mat. Inhale, lift your chin up off your chest. Exhale, fold in deep. Utkatasana, tailbone down, arms come up, inhale, and then exhale, Samastihitihi. Hands to your waist, feet apart. Inhale, lift your heart up off the chest. As you exhale, fold forward. Reach down, grab your big toes, peace sign, fingers, thumbs. Lengthen the spine. As you exhale, fold in. Imagine you're squeezing your knees into your chest by squeezing your knees into your chest. So draw them in and then push length into the legs. If you move away from your thighs, good opportunity to bend your knees, squeeze your knees into your chest, and then straighten. Some of you are like, well, I'd rather straighten my legs rather than have that, rather than making it necessary to bring your knees into your chest. Today, this is a good way of organizing our core. So pubic bone drawn back, tailbone drawn down in order to create that coil. Now push length into your legs, let your head go. Tip weight forward if you have the movement. And inhale, lift heart forward. Then a handstand, different variation. Take your hands underneath your feet, fingertips point back. Lift your heart forward. So we're literally on our hands, standing on our hands, right? It's a handstand. 2, you get it. Draw your inner thighs back, squeeze your knees in. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, lift chin up off the chest. As you exhale, bring your hands back to your waist. Inhale, press into the floor, come on up. And then exhale the feet together, Samastihitihi. We'll take a little bit of break off of the hands here for a moment for our triangle pose. Step your right foot back, rotate your feet. Take the left hip around as well, so it's like we're drawing it out. It helps keep the hips in a safe arrangement. But then as you exhale, pull the left inner thigh back initially. Inner thigh moves back, and then the hip opens up as we move into the posture. Hand can be on the floor to the side. Big toes traditional. Hand to the outside to open up the heart a little bit more. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Up on your inhale, rotate both feet. As you exhale, push into the floor. Right hip rotates around, and then draw the hip back as you reach down for your toe, or your variation of your toe. Reach up to the sky. Roll the shoulder blade back. Open the heart. 3, 4, and then 5. Up on your inhale, reaching up. Take your left arm towards the sky. Lift the chin up off the chest with an exhale. Hand down to the floor, pressing your shoulder across the midline a little bit, so you're rotating the front shoulder, the left shoulder across the shin, and then take your little finger on your hand, on the rooted hand, and pull it back. Open up the heart towards the ceiling. 3, collarbones opening. 4, and then 5. Look down. Inhale, windmill, bring it up, and then switching out the sides. So take your left arm, wrap it across, left hand down to take, right arm drawn long. Take the right hand across the midline to the right shoulder, and then pull the little finger back. Reach up to the sky, shoulder blade back. Draw the hips long. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, bring it on up, deep breath. Exhale to the front, Samastihiti. Utthita Parshvakonasana, extended side angle. Step the right foot back. Open up your legs. As you exhale, bend your right leg nice and deep. Hand to the outside, fingertips on the floor, palm down if it'll go. Then left arm long. So an extra little neck stretch here. Let your head or look towards your palm initially, right? As you set and coil, right sits bone under. Then look down to the floor. Let your head be heavy. Now take your left thumb towards the earth, slide it around so that the hand is back. Get a nice stretch in your neck. Coil the tailbone down. Let your head go. Pausing there for another breath or so. And then inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, root in, inhale. Come on up, deep breath. Rotate towards the front, bending your left leg, then reaching long. Right arm's long as well. Look towards your palm. Really set deep into it. And then from here, let your head go. Shake it out as appropriate. And then from there, let the arm rotate back. Shoulder can be open, or the arm can be back. Almost even feels like it's dropped. Feel the right shoulder, get a nice stretch in the neck. And then drop the arm, reaching, exhale, squeezing. Inhale, come on up to the top, turn towards the back of the mat, and then come up onto your back toes. As you exhale, left thumb dives across. So wrap it across, hand towards your hip. Back knee can come down. Pull the belly in. Take your tailbone and sits bone forward as you pull across the thigh. Right arm up and over, staying there if that's appropriate. Arm can be straight up as well. Looking up, you can come up onto your back toes. 3, 4, 5. Look down, hand down. Inhale, come on up. Turn towards the other side, up on your right toes. Bending your knee, bringing the knee down to the floor as appropriate. Take your right thumb, drop it down, wrap yourself across the top of your left thigh. Hand to the hip or hand down to the floor. And then maybe you straighten out your back leg. Lifting your left arm, open it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Look down, other hand might touch. Inhale, come on up, and exhale to the front, Samastihiti. So add some variations here on this posture. Prasarita Padottanasana. Step your right foot back. I'm gonna step my feet wide. Probably regret it with the carpet, but we'll see. Inhaling, lift the heart up, press the tail down. Exhale, fold forward, groin pulls back, chest presses forward. Hands down on the floor. Inhale, lift your chin up off your chest. As you exhale, hands down, head down to the floor. And then press your hands down. If you're up for a tripod, make sure you can see all of your fingers and elbows hugged in. Lift your legs up to the sky. Maybe you bring your heels together and you hold. Maybe you pike your toes down to the floor and up. Let's do that 3 more times. 2 more times. And 1 more time. Legs up. And then open them, slowly bring them down. Inhale, lift chin up off chest, lift your head up. Exhale, squeeze your tailbone down, hands to your waist. Inhale, come up. Exhale, pause there. Inhale, lean back a little bit, open up the heart. Exhale, keep your hands at your waist, elbows drawn back, head heavy. Draw your inner thighs back, soften through the front of the hips a little bit if it's useful for you to get a little bit deeper. Pay attention to the muscle structures underneath your fingers and which ones, if you engage, do you get to have a little bit more depth? What if you relax? Does your tailbone draw down? Which parts of the pose are working for you? Can you modify those actions, see if they are limiting you or if they're allowing you to move deeper? And then 5, on the inhale, inner thighs drawn back, lift up, exhale at the top. Little shoulder opening, inhale the arms out. Drop your thumbs down, interlace your fingers, draw your collarbones open, lift your chin up off your chest. Exhale, fold forward. Drop the arms up and over, look towards the sky off the tip of the nose. Maybe your palms open towards the sky and then towards the floor as you tip further forward. Maybe little fingers cross, thumbs are apart. Maybe they're just interlaced. Maybe your elbows are bent. Maybe you do all of them. 4, and then 5. Inhale, come on up, deep breath, exhaling. So we'll pause, we'll take a variation here in a moment. So if you have bricks handy, I would recommend grabbing them just in case. And then so from here, lift your heart up to the sky, lean it back a little bit. As you exhale, fold forward from the waist. Reach down, grab your big toes, peace sign fingers, thumbs, lift your chin up off your chest. Exhale with strong arm. Think about spreading your shoulders away from your ears and feeling a nice stretch in those muscles. Right? We carry the world in our shoulders, so give them some rest here. Head drawn down, neck long. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, come on up to the top. As you exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Find your bricks if they're useful for you in the splits. And then take your right hip forward and down and rotate towards the left, bending the knee a little bit if you need to. You can bending up onto your back toes, bend your front leg. You need to. Back knee comes down to the floor. Just walk your left leg forward a little bit. Push your heel down. This could be your splits form. I don't necessarily think that front leg needs to be straight or the back leg, right? So the splits happen down in the inner thighs, down towards the pelvic floor. So we want to think about the splits happening in the hips. So maybe you walk your back foot further back a little bit at a time. Hands can stay here. Now coil your tailbone towards your front heel. Left sits bone drawn forward. Then push your heel down into the floor. As you push your heel into the floor, coil the tailbone down, pull the navel in. Find that one similar action, maybe your knee further back. And again, as you work into the posture, push down. That helps you sink the tailbone. Now actively engage your left quadricep as your leg moves towards straight. Press your left heel forward, squeezing the foot up off the floor. At the same time, see if you can press the heel deeper into the mat. Back toes under, as if you're able to. Top of the foot can come down, but that gives you a nice stretch, but it also can be a lot for the knee, and it can be a little bit too soft. We want to maintain enough muscular engagement so we have integrity in the posture. So I recommend toe up. Even the knee might come up a little bit. And then 5, from there, go ahead and bend your front leg, drag it back a little bit as you need to, and then into your lunge, walk your feet to the side, and then continue to walk towards the other side. Bring your back knee down, bring your front knee down, and again, so now we're in this lunging form. We don't want our butt to stick back, we want to coil it in. Coil the tailbone in, walk your right foot forward a little bit, maybe you flex the toes back, send your back knee further back. I like that action of the lifting. And then maybe you're fine right here. Keep coiling in. Push your heel down, feel that liftedness. Then from there, maybe you're able to walk your back knee further back. I find myself to be plenty tight right here. So push your front heel down, and then at the same time, drag it back, and maybe quadriceps strengthens to straighten the leg. We usually, our quadriceps straightens our leg, so we have that muscle, that muscular strength there. It softens the hamstrings a little bit, but keep enough engagement. Squeeze your sits bones towards one another. Maybe you give it a final go. You slide your back knee back a little bit more, and then releasing. Pull your front heel back. Come up into your lunge. Open up to the side. One last posture here. Send your heels in a little bit closer, and then from here, drop the tailbone down. Take your hands to your shins. Elbows drawn wide. Press out through your elbows as you set just a little bit deeper. Press the knees out. Inhale. Lift the heart forward. See if you can send your groin and your hips away from your rib cage, and then set in a little bit more. Last one. Inhale. Lift the heart forward. Feel the inner thighs. Get some length as you press out with your elbows. And then 5. Releasing. Heels this time are going to move out, and I'll walk them out as far as you dare. As far as you dare. Take your heels out a little bit further so you can stay here in this form. If you have the bricks or you have the mobility to do so, keep walking the feet out. Walk your hands back and come down onto your butt. So now my legs are wide. You can bring your hands out in front. It's a Samokhanasana, or it would be if my legs were a little bit wider, and that just means same. It's kind of sama is like samastihitihi, or equal. So legs are equally konasaning or wide angling as wide as we can. All right, wide angling is actually not a term. All right, and from here, bring your hands, fingertips might point back, come up onto your hands, and from here, heel toe your feet in, bring your hands to your waist, and then inhale, come on up, and then step to the front, samastihitihi, Parvattanasana. So from here, taking your hands, draw them back. As you exhale, bring your palms together behind the heart. Opposite elbows if you have any sort of shoulder issues. Step your right foot back, rotate towards the back of the mat. This one will be a lot easier because of the previous posture in the splits form. So inhale and exhale, extend out. Bring your chin towards your shin. If your hand palms are together, see if you can really creep them up behind the back of the neck, back of the heart. 3, 4, elbows lifting, and then 5. Inhale, come up, rotate towards the front. As you exhale, squeeze in and fold in. Lengthening. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, come on up, and exhale, step to the front, samastihitihi. So hopefully you're doing good here. Thinking about these different forms. Right knee, this time I'm going to keep my knee bent. You can straighten your leg if you're familiar with the pose. Reach down, find your big toe, or with your peace sign fingers of thumb, or the front of the knee. Inhaling, straighten out your front leg if you are going to straighten out your front leg. Otherwise, pull the knee up towards your armpit. Try not to lean back in this pose, but coil the tail, bend the left knee if you need to, but squeeze it in. Feel that action of pushing down and drawing the tailbone down. 3, 4, and then 5. Stand up, inhale, and open up to the side. It's super easy to let your butt open back behind you. So drop your tailbone down. Feel the quadricep externally rotate. Look towards the side. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, lift and straighten the leg or hinge in. And then bring your hands to your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Release your right foot down to the floor. Lift up your left leg. Inhale. Grab the front of the knee or your big toe. As you exhale, squeeze right rib cage in. Hug in. So again, you don't want to lean back. You don't want to drop the shin bone or the leg down. Pull it up as tight as it'll come in and squeeze in. 3, knee might bend a little bit. 4, and then 5. Inhale, stand up, exhale, open up to the side, gaze out towards the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, hug it in, squeeze it in. Inhale, stand up, lift and straighten. Exhale, hands to the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Release the foot down. A little wiggle if you do. And then from here, let's take our Utkatasana. So we're going to open up our hip towards the side, and if you want, you can take that figure 4 Utkatasana form. So leg comes up, open up, heel to the hip crease, or drop it down into that figure 4 form. Right hand that comes back, reach for your toes, or hands towards your heart and set deep. If you fold forward, bring your hands down to the mat. Left knee bends if you're in the Utkatasana form. Hand can come down so that you bring your elbow down to the knee. Now lift up into your elbow with your knee and press your ankle down. Set your hips back further. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, lift your heart forward if you're in your fold. Exhale, squeeze your pelvic floor. Support the foot. Inhale, everyone comes up. And exhale, release the foot down to the floor. Left leg this time, open it up, take your half lotus form or your figure 4 form. Bring it in. Foot, make sure you always take care of your knee and your hip. So left leg, elbow in front. Lift your knee up into your elbow, set deeper. Press your ankle down into the top of the thigh and press it deeper. 2, hips move back. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, look up if you're in your forward fold. Exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, both postures. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, release the foot down to the floor. Then inhale, the arms come up, reach the sky. As you exhale, fold forward, hands down to the mat. Inhale, lean weight forward. Bring your knees up into your chest, and then step back or float. Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale, Utkatasana. Bring your knees into the chest as you float forward, squeeze in. Weight to the heels, coil the tail, reach the arms up to the sky. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Hands come down to the floor. Inhale, lift the heart up. And then as you exhale, take a time, maybe 3 pop-ups towards that handstand tuck, or you could do also that, you could do crow pose. So knees in, 3 opportunities, lift, 1, 2, 3, chaturanga, up dog, and then down dog. And then we have warrior 1 here. Lift up your left leg if you'd like to. So we're just going to step forward this time. Lift up your left leg, right leg, warrior 1. Look in between your thumbs, pop it up, lifting, bend your right knee, hug it in. Left heel down, arms up. Inhale, reach up, push your hands to the sky. So as we move into our warrior, we're going to move straight into warrior 2 instead of into the opposite side. But we're going to handstand our way back. So push your arms up to the sky. Exhale. Hands come down to the floor. Press into the floor. Finding that the one knee and the stag handstand, almost like if we're doing the split. So press your palms into the floor. Shift weight into your hands. Lifting up. Let the left leg come back behind you. Keep the right knee in. So it's like we're in warrior 1, but handstand. Push your arms deep. Hug your right leg in. Squeeze in. Reach your leg, your left leg long. And then warrior 2, right foot down. Inhale, bring it on up. Deep breath, and exhale, holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Hands come down. Shift your weight forward. Lift up. Inhale. Exhale. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Hips to the sky. Now, left leg, warrior 1. Lift up your right leg. Look in between your thumbs. And then pop up. Squeeze the knee in. Landing gently. Warrior 1. Arms come up. Reach to the sky. 1, 2. Push your front foot into the floor. 3, 4, 5. Hands down to the floor. Shift weight forward. So that same splits. Stag handstand, push into the mat, and then lift up. Right leg will come back this time. Lift it up, squeeze, About 3 more breaths. 2, 1, and then Chaturanga, up dog. Oop, that was supposed to be a warrior 2. Sorry. So sometimes I intentionally or unintentionally skip warrior 2. Generally, I go back every now and again. I forget. I just kind of gloss over the fact that I skipped warrior 2, just because it's hard. 4, and then 5. Arms up. Inhale. Bring your hands down. Find your way through your flow to seated. Lift up. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. And then from here, find your way to your seated pose, which we call Dandasana, staff posture. Press your heels down towards the earth. Pull back a little bit with your legs. Press into the floor with your hands. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift your chin. As you exhale, reach for your big toes. Lift your heart up. Inhale. As you exhale, elbows wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come on up. As you exhale, squeeze your tailbone towards the floor like you're holding this form. Thumbs to the big toe knuckle. Peel the feet back. Inhale, lift your heart, and exhale, coil in, lengthen the spine. 1, 2. Make it a subtle pose. Try not to squeeze your way into it aggressively. Elbows drawn wide. Peel the feet back. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift your heart. And then again, interlace your fingers out in front of your feet. And then push forward into your wrist so you get that nice wrist stretch. If it's not quite there for you, interlacing the fingers, you can bend the knees. Bring the fingertips across the tops of the foot so that you can push forward. And let's see if you can soften your wrist just a little bit so you can feel a little wrist stretch there. And then 5, inhale, lift your heart forward, exhale, bring your hands back, press your tailbone towards your heels, lift your hips up off the floor, head back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Releasing, hands down to the floor beside your thighs, lift your legs up, pull the knees into the chest, shift weight forward, and then Chaturanga. Inhale and exhale back. Up dog. Then you have your down dog. Lift your hips towards the sky, bend the knees, look forward, float forward, and sit down. Nice. From here, right knee drawn in. Let the hip move back a little bit. So it's like we're rotating our hip open. Then drop the outside of the right thigh down and then swing it across. Half lotus pose. Right hand comes back, reach for your toes, or you can take a figure 4 pose. Left arm up and fold. Figure 4 pose, again, similar posture. Bring your shoulder towards your knee so you're almost squeezing up. Could use a brick there if you need to. It's kind of interesting. Push into your knee. Pick your knee up towards your shoulder. Press your ankle down. And so then you start to feel the hip start to soften, the outer hip start to soften forward. And go with that a little bit. Maybe to intensify, you lift up a little bit and slide your hips forward. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, lift your chin if you're in your fold, and exhale, squeeze in. And then from there, cross your shins, lift your feet up, pull them up into the chest, and then exhale, back Chaturanga, Dandasana. Up dog, inhale, down dog, exhale, second side, float forward and sit down. Legs out in front, and then again, draw the left knee in, open up the hip towards this side, so we want to feel almost like the right foot's drawn forward. Then the heel moves up to the hip crease as we slide the left hip around. So from there, you can take the thigh, the heel up the thigh, or you reach back for your bind. And again, finding the posture that works for you is super important. Sometimes we think about the ideal form in a posture as being The goal for the posture is to find the pose that works the best for you, the most productive pose for you. Squeeze the knee in, press the ankle down, and then soften the outer glute forward. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, hold, and then cross your shins, plant your hand, lift up on your inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga, Dandasana, low push-up. Up dog, and then down dog, hips to the sky. Chaturanga Mukha Ekapara Paschimottanasana, right side, which means left leg forward. So float forward and then sit down. So left leg out in front, right heel drawn back. Inhale, lift your heart open, and then exhale, fold. So I put a brick underneath my left cheek here so that I have a little bit of leverage moving forward. Feel stiff on the left hip here, so I'm just going to be all right with that today. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, look up, and exhale, release. Let's take our vinyasa. Hands might be on bricks or something to the side. Lift your front leg up, step back, or float back, Chaturanga. Up dog, and then down dog. And then float the right leg forward and set down. It's almost like doing the splits. Left heel beside you. Again, the brick can be super useful. It's actually even informative. So if anything, our practice should make us more intelligent about how our body works, how to modify different arrangements in the body. And so giving ourselves a different sensation, the outside edge of that brick right there in the hip can be super interesting for piriformis syndrome. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It's probably not injuring you by feeling that extra pressure there. 4, might feel good in a yoga way, which ordinarily would be more stress inducing. And then 5, inhale, come up. Exhale, maybe you have your bricks, maybe you choose not to. Lift the right leg, step back or float. Chaturanga, up dog, and then down dog, hips to the sky. Look forward, step forward or float, set down, Janu Shirshasana. So from here, left leg out in front, pull the right knee in, and then that hip might feel like it rotates back a little bit as well. Now, feel that external rotation, heel drawn in. So it was here, now we squeeze back in so that our sacrum is flat towards the back, and we're folding directly over the front foot. Reach for your front foot. Inhale, lift the heart open, drop the tailbone down, squeezing in. Every time you inhale, see if you can find a little bit more lift up out of the waist. As you exhale, folding in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor in. Bring your hands down. From there, lift the knees up. Rock wave forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, expansion. Exhale, hips to the sky. Coil the tailbone in. Float forward or step forward. Right leg out in front. Pull the knee in. That compression here helps protect the knee. Open up the hip a little bit. And then swing the foot in. Outside edge of the left hip is going to draw down. Reaching forward. Lift the heart open, inhale, and then fold in. 1, 2. Drop the left trochanter, the inner trochanter on the left side down, but then feel the heart press forward. 4, outside of the left hip, drops back. And then 5, inhale, look up, and exhale, squeeze in with your core. Pull your heels in, cross your shins. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, and then down dog. Let's go to Marityasana A. Float forward, sit down. Legs out in front, left leg out in front. Pull the right knee in, a little bit of space. Take your right arm up, reach forward, come up off of your right hip, even your left hip as you reach so far out in front. And then drop your thumb, reach back, find your other hand. Hand can be beside you on the floor. not a problem. Lift your chin up off of the chest as you draw forward. If you get exceptionally deep, you're gonna have too much compression in the back of the neck, so you might let your head go, but you need to be pretty deep there. 3, add your heel pushing down of your front leg. Notice how if it's lazy, there's not a lot going on, but strengthen and pull. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, come up, and exhale, release. Either Kundalini your way back, or squeeze in. Tip weight forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog. And then down dog. Second side. Float it through. Sit down. Left heel drawn back. Lift up. Right heel drawn forward. And then set the right cheek down. Left arm up, reaching. Drop the thumb. Reach back and bind. Maybe you just keep your hand on the floor. Maybe your hand is back. And then again, inhale, hard forward. Exhale, lean. Just so if that front leg is lazy, push your heel down and squeeze your left ribs forward. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up, and exhale, squeeze the tailbone towards the earth. Cross your shins, lean forward, lift up, and Chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Let's do Marichyasana. C. Heels out in front. Draw your right knee in. This time it's a little bit wider, so insert a little bit narrower. Instead of here, heels almost touching, not quite. Keep the compression. Right hand drawn back. Narrow the waist. Coil the tailbone towards your front heel. So coiling in, flexion in the lower back. Exhale, drop your thumb. Hand towards your hip or slide the elbow forward. Bend the elbow and reach for your right hand behind. My left leg's lazy here, so I'm going to push down as I twist. Maybe the toes are flexed back or they're extended forward, but we want to think in terms of an active front leg. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, lengthen the tailbone. Roll the collarbones back. Twist just a little bit deeper. And then release. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, squeezing in. Then take your vinyasa. Lift up on the inhale. And then exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Find your seat. Hit again. Float it forward. And set down. Legs out in front. Left heel drawn back. And then from there, we're going to take our right arm up. Inhale. Coil in. Wrap the belly across the thigh. And soften. So we don't want to clench our core in. We want to soften the abdominal viscera, all of the contents, the fleshy part inside. Push your heel down and twist in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, reach forward, look forward. Exhale, squeeze in. Tip forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Low push-up pose, maybe knees, chest, chin, if it's appropriate. And exhale, hips towards the sky. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, float forward, and set down. And let's do Ardha Matsyendrasana. So just a little bit different twist, and we'll skip the vinyasa in between. So take your left heel, draw it towards your right outer hip. Take your right ankle over. So a second series posture, also a primary pose in the hot series, the gauche series. Then take your left arm up to the sky, drop your thumb, and bring it back towards your hip. From that position, slide the hand down towards your knee, or towards your big toe, or look over the shoulder. Right hand could come back, you could also bind, but push into the mat. Left shoulder rotates forward and down a little bit, and then right shoulder rotates back. And then once you're in it, you can press your knee to your elbow, elbow back into the knee a little bit. 3, 4, 5. Look forward, inhale, exhale, and then maybe only touching with one hand, or maybe you don't even need to touch. Spin it around, all the way around, and sit down. This time, right arm will come up. As your right arm comes up, reach the sky, drop your thumb, hand towards your hip. So we want that deep compression. Hand can slide down to the foot or to the knee and twist. And again, right shoulder not peeled back so that the shoulder blade is cutting off into the back of the body, but instead curl it in and then sit up straight. So we want equal length on both sides of the lower back, middle back. 4, And then 5, look forward, inhale, exhale, maybe you can keep your hands off the floor and you spin it all the way around. And then you get around and you're self-congratulating. You're like, good job. Even if your hands touched, it's an awkward motion, especially for such a formal practice. Knees, chest, chin if you need. Roll the heart and exhale. Hips towards the sky and then bring your knees down towards the floor. All right. So from here, thinking in terms of what's next, boat pose would be next. Let's go ahead and do let's just do one boat pose for 3 minutes. Just kidding. Just one boat pose. Maybe your feet are down. Lift your chin up off the chest. This can be where you go. Take your shoulder blades back. This can be a really, so this posture done perfectly is a better pose than lifting the legs imperfectly. Squeeze in. Feel the lower abdomen. It's not clenching, but you want to soften the abdominal viscera and then tone the muscles back behind the pubic bone. You'll feel almost this contraction in the anus area, and so you want to pull that up. So the tailbone's towards your heels, press the pubic bone towards your sacrum, soften and hollow the abdomen, pull the toes back. 3, 4, and then 5. Cross your shins, squeeze, lean forward, and then step back or float back. Chaturanga, up dog and down dog. Once you're in your down dog, go ahead, leapfrog your legs around your arms and take a yogi squat or arm pressure pose, Bhuja Pidasana. So from here, bend your knees, set deep into yogi squat. It's a good pose. You can do this posture. It's a great posture, a place to stay. Otherwise, maybe you lift your hips up, bring your hands back, bring your toes in. So I'm up on my fingertips here, and I'm just going to set the weight of my hips back into my triceps. So that can be where I say, if I'm going to lift my feet, I need to point my fingertips forward, however. So if you're going to lift your feet, hands come down, look forward, lift your feet up, and again, palms rooting into the floor. If you're able, pull your feet back and up, and then feel the outsides of the hips drawn back. Maybe your head down towards the floor. 3, lift your heart forward. If you're up, if your head's on the floor, bring it up. And then 5, inhale, look forward. Exhale, squeeze your pelvic floor. Reach your legs long, Titipasana, and then into Bakasana. Bend the knees, squeeze them back. And Chaturanga Dandasana, low push-up pose. Up dog, down dog, hips to the sky. And then step forward or float forward and sit down. And let's go into some more releasing postures, some symmetrical poses. Bring your heels together, separate your feet. You can separate your feet if you'd like to. Feet can be together. Right ankle more over the left, unless you want to keep that symmetry here. Reach over, find the front of the top of the foot here, or elbows can be out in front in Tadasana, star pose, or arms can be back beside you. So not really doing Karmasana, kind of going more towards this variation. Let the head go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift your chin up off the chest. Exhale, releasing the arms out to the side. And let's bring our heels in. Heels drawn in. Lift up and set the feet towards the floor. Draw the knees down. Maybe use those bricks. Stay here a couple of moments. 3, 4, and then 5. From there, peel the feet open, elbows hug in, inhale, exhale, lean forward. 1, 2, this is my forward lean here. All right, so a lot of people get way out in front. Sometimes I get jealous, sometimes I'm all right with it. Every day is different. 4, and then 5, and then elbows draw wide, inhale, as I exhale, curling in. Same thing with you, but maybe your forehead touches your big toes. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, grab your big toes. So we're in the abbreviated variations here since we added all that extra stuff. So now push your legs out. Upavishta Konasana B. And then lift your chin up off your chest. Bend your elbows. Pull your legs wide and draw them back. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, bring your legs back to the center. As you exhale, slowly roll your toes to the floor behind you. As the toes touch, grab the outsides of the heels or the sides of the feet. And then inhale, come back up. This time, legs stay together. Press your chest towards your thighs. 3, 4, and then 5. And then from here, cross your shins. Plant your hands, lift up off the floor. Exhale, low push-up pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Then from here, let's do 3 back bends. So legs out in front, and then bring your heels in for bridge pose, or if you're up for a full wheel, go for your full wheel right from the beginning. So bridge pose first. Lift your hips up, walk your shoulder blades almost together behind you. So you want to feel them wrap in a little bit. And then if you're up for it, if you feel like you have the good prep pose, pubic bone drawn towards the sacrum, tailbone drawn up, that's your bridge. Hands can come beside your ears, slide up to the head, push into the floor, and lift up onto your hands. 3, 4, 5, head comes down. Arms come back. Number 2, lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Head down. Walk your head in a little bit. Hands come down. Push into the floor. Lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release down. Lay on your back, reach your arms up, maybe you roll out your wrists here. They've taken a lot of extra work today. Windshield wiper the legs. Even our hips have taken extra. We did the splits, different variations. And so a little bit extra today just because of love for our body. Just draw the knees back after windshield wipering. Then take your shins down, your hands down the shins, and create a little bit of drawing of your lower back long. Here causes that extra flexion in the back. Here, see if you can just press gently down. Draw your knees in, bring your chin in, and then rock up. Come into forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Hands can be out in front. One of my favorites, and this is really deviating right here at the end, you can thread your fingers through your toes a little bit if you can. First time it feels awkward. Feels like maybe you shouldn't be doing that, especially if you're in a public forum. But then from here, spread the toes out. See if you can really draw your arms long. And then as you pull back, use the squeeze of your toes to give yourself just a little traction in the wrists, create some space. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come up, and exhale. Slowly lay down to Doggy Mudra. Press your heels down. See if you can draw the pubic bone back. The tailbone is drawn long. 2, 3, pressing into the floor. 4, and then 5. Draw your knees, legs up towards the sky. Viparita Karani gets good posture. Don't discount it. Can be a perfect pose for you on some days. Otherwise, shoulder stand. I'm going to stay right here. I feel pretty all right with this. Pressing the lower back towards the floor. If you're in your shoulder stand, activate the legs just enough. Not so much that you feel like you're clinching. You're going to have engagement, drawing the legs in towards the front of the mat. But at the same time, see if you can pull the belly back up and in. Then plow pose. If you're in this Viparita Karani posture, you can stay here. If you're in headstand, slowly lower your toes, or shoulder stand, slowly lower your toes to the floor for plow, interlacing your fingers. 3, 4, and then 5. From here, Karnapidasana, arm pressure or ear pressure pose. Bend the knees and squeeze your knees to the outsides of your head. If you're in Viparita Karani or candlestick, grab the sides of your feet and then press up into your hands a little bit as you engage your biceps and pull your heels towards the floor. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, straighten the legs if you're in your ear pressure pose. Exhale, squeeze. And then from there, slowly bring your lower back down to the floor. As you bring your lower back down to the floor, the people in Viparita Krani or that happy baby pose will meet you in fish. Look off the tip of the nose towards your belly button. You can support yourself with your elbows. Then let your head come back. Maybe you cup the back of the legs with the hands. And this is your fish pose, pushing into the floor and trying to drag a little bit of space into the back of the neck. 4 and 5. From there, palms pressed together. Lift your legs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Lay on your back. Let's do a vinyasa. Hands by your ears. Rock back towards your shoulders. Roll forward. Cross your shins. Plant your hands. Move through your flow. Find your way to your downward dog. Up dog. Down dog. Maybe forearm dolphin pose or maybe headstand. For headstand, elbows come down, interlace your fingers. Now, if you haven't worked on headstand before with a teacher, maybe a good opportunity to practice curiosity and just take that dolphin dog pose, keeping the head off the floor, or come up into dolphin dog, walk your feet forward. As soon as you can do it no further forward, head might come down to the floor, press your elbows into the mat, and then maybe your feet float up. So we don't really want to have our whole body weight supported by our head here. That's tripod headstand. So we push our elbows down and almost lengthen the back of the neck by pushing the head back just a little bit. Enough engagement in the legs to stabilize, but then feel the pelvic floor drop towards the heart. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, slowly coming out, and then staying in child's pose. You can interlace your fingers behind the head, create space in the neck by drawing the hips back. You can do similarly with your arms straight out in front, or even your arms beside you. Try to reverse the compression you might have created in your headstand. One more breath. And then hands on the floor. Inhale, come up into your plank pose. And exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, down dog, hips to the sky. Baddha Padmasana, bound lotus posture, or Sukhasana, which is also known as easy pose. 2 super important terms in both in Indian thinking, Indian philosophy. Sukha and dukkha. Sukha means easy. Dukkha means is kind of another word for suffering. And so when we are in dukkha, we're out of balance. When we're in sukha, we're in balance or harmony, and life is much easier. We do our yoga posture to center, to bring harmony. Inhale here as you exhale, hinge forward. Maybe your head comes down. Maybe your chin comes down out in front. Breathe your breath, equal breath. This is Yoga Mudra. So the yoga aspects of the posture, which would be the bandhas, the pelvic floors drawn up, pubic bone back towards your sacrum, and then feeling the hollowing of the lower abdomen as you breathe into the back of the diaphragm, which gives you a feeling of being propelled forward. And then as you exhale, drop the outsides of the hips down like lotus flowers, or lotus petals, the lotus flower. And then draw the chin in just so gently that you feel more space in the back of the skull. Inhale, sit up straight. Releasing your arms out in front, whichever seated posture you're in. Drop your chin down so that you feel the back of the skull spreading out. Pull your ears back for the same reason. Soften the roof of the mouth. Almost feel as though you're smiling behind you. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift your chin up off your chest. Exhale, hands beside you. And so 10 breaths. Lift up. 1, lift your chin up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Have your vinyasa, step back or float back, low push-up pose, up dog and then a down dog. And then front of the mat. Float forward or step to the front, lift your heart forward, exhale, folding in. Then rising up to the top, inhale, hands to heart center as you exhale. You can always bring your knees down if you need to. I'm going to do so I'm in the frame of the camera. Let's go and do our closing mantra here. Take a deep breath. And Svasti prajabhya paripalyantam naena margena mahim maheshaha gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Come inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold. Trini, inhale, lift chin up off your chest. And then exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, moving through your final vinyasa to land on your mat in Shavasana. As you lay in your Savasana, feel the roof of the mouth soften. The ears move away from one another. Finding any sort of residual tension that you feel in the back of the head, the back of the skull, the muscles around the outsides of the ears. We soften the features of the face. It allows us an opportunity to really cue into our nervous system and allow the vigor of the practice to move back towards a more balanced state. I recommend that you stay here for 5, 8, 10 minutes. Let your body move back towards a state of balance, of harmony. As always, truly an honor to be with you here this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I bow to you with namaste.